Good morning, friends. In the previous lecture, we studied about the arithmetic progressions. Now, in today's lecture, we are going to start with the next topic, that is chapter number 7, coordinate geometry. Coordinate geometry was also a topic, was also a chapter in standard 9, and there was chapter number 3, right? In that chapter, friends, we have studied about the Cartesian plane, right? The topics that we studied about coordinate geometry in standard 9. There we had the topic about the Cartesian plane. We also studied about identifying the coordinates of a point. We also studied about plotting the points on the plane, right? These three topics we studied in chapter number 3, standard 9. Is it clear that the Cartesian plane consists of a horizontal and a vertical axis intersecting each other at the origin, making an angle of 90 degree. So these were the two number lines, also known as the coordinate axis, right? These number lines, vertical and horizontal, were known as the coordinate axis, right? And this coordinate axis was forming some types or some parts of the Cartesian plane known as the quadrants, right? So we know that the coordinate axis divides the whole Cartesian plane into four parts or into four quadrants, namely first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, and the fourth quadrant, right? So the first quadrant was made by the positive x-axis and positive y-axis. We already know this all things, so I'm not going to repeat that again here, right? Let us simply recall it that the first quadrant was made up of positive x-axis and positive y-axis, right? Second quadrant was made up of negative x-axis and positive x. This is x, y, negative x and negative y with origin. So this was the first quadrant made up of positive x and positive y, friends, right? Similarly, we had the second quadrant that is made up of negative x and positive y. Then we had the third quadrant that is made up of negative x and negative y. And then we had the fourth quadrant made up of positive x and negative y, right? So that was about the basic things, the Cartesian plane. Then identifying the coordinates of a point. That means identifying the x coordinate and y coordinate of a point, right? The first one was the x coordinate and the second one was the y coordinate. So what is basically the x coordinate? That is the perpendicular distance of the point from y-axis measured along the x-axis, right? This is about the x coordinate. And similarly y coordinate, that is the perpendicular distance of the point from x-axis measured along the y-axis, right? So this were the x coordinate and y coordinate of a point. So first, the second topic that we had was identifying the coordinates of a point, right? Similarly, if the point, identifying the coordinates, that means if the point lies in the first quadrant, then it will be of the form, if a point lies in the first quadrant, then it will be of the form plus plus. That means the first one that we write is the x coordinate of a point, and the second number that we write is the y coordinate of a point. So identifying the coordinates, that means the point is written as x coordinate comma y coordinate. Right, friends, here the x coordinate and y coordinate was also known as the abscissa, or the x coordinate is simply known as the abscissa, and the y coordinate is known as the ordinate of a point. Right, so if I write x coordinate or y coordinate of a point, that is simply same as that of the abscissa and ordinate of a point. Right, so that was about the point. You will be writing the point as the ordered pair of x coordinate and y coordinate. That means inside the bracket, inside the round brackets, we shall write down, differentiating by a comma, the first one will be our x coordinate or abscissa, comma, the second one will be our y coordinate or the ordinate of the point. Is it clear, friends? So that was about identifying the coordinates of a point and writing down the point. Now coming here again, that if the point lies in the first quadrant, then it will be of the form plus plus. That means the x coordinate is positive and y coordinate is also positive. If the point lies in the second quadrant, then it will be of the form minus plus. That means the x coordinate is negative and the y coordinate is positive. Friends, you can clearly see here that if it is in the first quadrant, then the first quadrant is formed by positive x axis and positive y axis. So both the axes are positive, and hence you can say that both the coordinates of a point lying in the first quadrant will be positive. Yes or no? Yes. So the first quadrant had both the coordinates positive. Similarly, looking for the point in the second quadrant, if it lies in the second quadrant, then the second quadrant is made up of negative x-axis and positive y-axis. Right, this is my negative x-axis and that is our positive y-axis. So you can say that the x coordinate of the point lying in the second quadrant will be negative, and the y coordinate, as it corresponds to positive y-axis, it will be positive. Is it clear? So here the point will be of the form plus plus, here the point will be of the form minus plus. Now in the third quadrant, any point lying here will be of the form minus minus, because the third quadrant is made up of, friends, the third quadrant is made up of negative x-axis and negative y-axis. So you can clearly say that the point on the negative x-axis will be negative and the point on the negative y-axis will also be negative. So in this quadrant, in the third quadrant, any point lying will be of the form minus comma minus. That means both the coordinates of the point lying in the third quadrant will be negative. Right, and lastly for the fourth quadrant, we had the fourth quadrant made up of positive x-axis and negative y-axis. Right, so positive x-axis will contain all the positive integers, negative y-axis will contain the negative integers. So any point lying in the fourth quadrant will be of the form plus comma minus, that is plus minus. So here for x coordinate is positive because it is corresponding to positive x-axis, and y coordinate is negative because it is corresponding to the negative y-axis. Is this thing clear, friends? Right, so we studied these all things here in standard 9. We also studied about plotting the point on the plane. That we will study later on, but it is not required right now. Plotting a point on the plane, that if for example if I am given that I need to plot a3 comma 4 on the plane, then where shall it be? That was the thing that we studied there, right? So a3 comma 4, first of all compare it with this. Both the coordinates are positive here, so you can directly go on to the first. This point will lie in the first quadrant, and x corresponds to 3, that means x coordinate is 3. You will look at 3 here, 4 on the y axis, and there you will get a point that is 3 comma 4, right? This is our required point. Like this you can plot the point on the plane. Is this thing clear? So that was the brief description that we have studied clearly in the 9th standard, chapter number 3. Is it clear, friends? Okay. Now, friends, we shall look for one more thing that we have already studied in this standard, but in the previous chapter, that is chapter number 2. Right? In chapter number 2, you have studied the nature of the graphs of the polynomials. That was in chapter number 2, right? Nature of the graphs of the polynomials. That means we had different kinds of polynomials. They were linear. Second one we had quadratic, and the third one we had cubic, right? Now for a linear polynomial, friends, the graph of a linear polynomial is a straight line, right? The graph of a linear polynomial, friends, is a straight line. For a quadratic polynomial, the graph of a quadratic polynomial is a parabolic nature, or it is a parabola, right? It is a parabola. And simply for the last one, cubic polynomial, the graph of a cubic polynomial is a waveform, right? This we need to understand, or this we need to recall, remember, because here in coordinate geometry we are going to deal with such graphs or such Cartesian planes consisting of the graphs having a linear or a straight line, right? This we are not going to recall it right now in this chapter, because here we are dealing with such coordinates lying in the plane which shows us the nature of a straight line. That means whenever you find out the equation in the further standards of such points, you will get a linear equation for those points, right? So in this chapter, friends, we are going to recall only and only the graphs having the straight lines or having the nature of straight lines. Is this clear, friends? So that was about the thing that we need to understand, that we need to recall. Now after recalling these all things, the topics from standard 9 and the topics from standard 10, both, coming to the topic of this chapter, that in this chapter, friends, first of all, the very first topic that you are going to study about is the distance formula. the very first topic of this chapter is the distance formula. Now you will ask me a question that, sir, if we are given directly the distance, then why is the distance formula made? Right? We are directly given the distance of 2 points. Then why is this distance formula made? Suppose, for example, if I say that so suppose that if I say that we had the distance between Surendranagar to Ahmedabad, for example, it is, we know that it is 120 kilometers, right? But what if we didn't had the distance? What if we didn't had the distance? I asked you that right now I am standing at 0,21 and I need to go to 50,105. Then what will be your answer? How much distance is between 0,21 and 50,105? It would be slightly a tedious task to do, right? So let us start with the basic thing that if we have a situation, suppose we are having a graph here, or we are showing it on a graph here with the origin that is only the first quadrant. Right now we are only taking the example of the first quadrant. That there are two towns located. One is located at point A and the another one is located at point B. Right, now we know that the distance of town B from the x-axis is 15 kilometer. How much? 15 kilometer. And that of the distance of town A from the point here C, that is 36 kilometer. So if I need to find out the distance between these two, then what will be the answer for you? Right, if I want to find out the distance between these two towns, so the distance between these two towns, friends, will be like this directly, right? Because if I want to go from Surendranagar to Ahmedabad, then I shall look for the shortest way to Ahmedabad, so to reach there on time, right? So this is my shortest way, rather than going from Surendranagar to first of all Rajkot and then going to Ahmedabad. That would be of no matter, because that is just a waste of time, waste of petrol and everything, right? So rather than going from A to C and then C to B, this is my shortest distance between the towns A and B. Yes or no? So if I want to find out this distance here, AB, then you can clearly see that this triangle so formed ACB is a right angle triangle. Yes or no? The triangle here so formed is a right angle triangle. So in a right angle triangle, in a right triangle ACB, angle C is equals to 90. Right, so if in a right angle triangle any one of the angle is 90, we already know that if in a right angle triangle two of the sides are given, then we can simply write it down that AC square plus BC square is equals to AB square. Right, the sides, the sum of the squares of the sides making right angle is equals to the square of the third side. Right, so here what is AC? 36 square. BC 15 square is equals to AB square, that is 1296 plus 255 is equals to AB square, sorry, 225 friends, and therefore AB square will give me how much? 6 plus 5 11, 9 plus 1 10 plus 2 12, 2 plus 2 4 plus 1 5, and 1 5 2 1, right? So we need to find out the square root of 1521, or if we say that the distance between the two towns is square root of 1521, whatever the value be here, right? Okay, that is equals to 39. So the distance between the two towns A and B is simply 39 kilometer, right? So this is how we can find out. But note that friends, what did I say? Here the distance are directly given, right? So there is no use for distance formula here. Is it clear or not? Suppose, again let us take two real-time examples. If I want to go from Surendranagar to Surat, and again if I go from Surendranagar to Ahmedabad, then I know the distance between Surendranagar to Ahmedabad and Surendranagar to Surat. Then I can directly find out the distance between Surat and Ahmedabad. Yes or no? Because there we shall form such triangle, and then we can directly find out using the equation, that is the sum of the squares of two sides is equals to the square of the third side, right? So in this way we can find out the distance between two places. But this is not the distance formula, this is simply the distance is given and we need to find out the third distance. Then what happens when we are not given such distances at that time? At the same time we are going to find out first the distance between 2 points, and for that friends we shall use the distance formula. Is it clear? So let us try to solve what the distance formula is now. So friends, let me erase this and then we shall come to the concept of the distance formula. Now, suppose if I draw a graph here, friends, I'm drawing a graph here that again deals with only the first quadrant of our Cartesian plane. So this is my positive y-axis, this is the origin, and this is the positive x-axis. Is it clear? So this is the first quadrant that I have drawn here in the graph or in the plane. Right now we shall look for the point that we require. So friends, I am drawing a point here. First of all, I am drawing a line here. So I got one. I am drawing one more here that will give me two lines perpendicular to the positive x-axis, right? So these are the two lines for me right now, and so for me right now here, that is, we are having 2 points on the x-axis, that is a x1 comma 0, b x2 comma 0, then we have c 0 comma y1 and d 0 comma y2, right? As we know, as we have studied in standard number 9, that any point on the x-axis will have its y coordinate 0, and any point on the y-axis will have its x coordinate 0. So friends, here for the distance formula, let a x1 comma 0, b x2 comma 0, c 0 comma y1 and d 0 comma y2. We shall take these 2 points here, sorry, 2 points on the x-axis and 2 points on the y-axis here. Now friends, I would like to add one more thing here, that what is the difference between a and b? What is the difference between a and b? So what is the distance from 0 to b? If I am taken this one, then what is the distance between 0 to b, 0 to a, 0 to c and 0 to d? Hence, therefore, we can write it down like, therefore, OA is equals to x1 units, right? Because see friends, what is the thing? If I am calculating the distance, again if I say that what is the x coordinate here, x1, what is x1 equals to? Perpendicular distance of the point from the y-axis measured along x-axis. So the perpendicular distance OA here is x1 units, yes or no? So we simply write it down like, the perpendicular distance OA is equals to the x coordinate of the point. So OA equals to x1 units. Similarly, you can write down that OB equals to x2 units, OC equals to y1 units, and OD equals to y2 units, right? So we got these 4 distances, the perpendicular distances, that is, this is our x1, this OB is x2, OC is y1 and OD is y2. Now can we get AB? Therefore we can get AB as OB minus OA. If I want to find out this much distance, friends, A to B, then what shall I do? I shall simply subtract the smaller distance from the bigger distance. So what is the bigger distance here? OB. What is the smaller distance here? OA. So to find out the remaining distance AB, I shall simply subtract the smaller distance from the bigger distance. So that is OB. What is OB here? That is x2 minus x1 units, yes or no? X2 minus x1 units. And similarly, what is CD? That is also OD minus OC with the same concept, and that is y2 minus y1 units, yes or no? So again CD, this much distance I require. How much? This much distance. So for that we shall again take the total distance OD, and from that we shall subtract the smaller distance OC. Is it clear, friends? So this is the thing. Now let us somewhat make difference here in this graph. So if I draw a line segment joining these two perpendiculars, and the complete line segment, not the dotted ones, that is joining the vertical line like this, and then I shall connect these two points. Here like this. So what is the thing that happened here? I've got a triangle, you can see simply by the projections, right? Now let me name this as P, Q and R, where R here will form a right angle. So here we get here joining the line projections, we get a triangle, we get a triangle PQR where angle R is equals to 90 degree. We get a triangle PQR where angle R is equals to 90 degree. So you can say that triangle PQR here so formed is a right angled triangle. Okay, now you can see that these lines are parallel. Which one? PA and RB. So we found out the distance AB, therefore we can say that PR is equals to AB is equals to x2 minus x1 units, right? Because friends, see, these both lines are parallel. Which one? PA and RB. So the distance that we found out here, that is exactly the distance that we will get here. Yes or no? So this distance here will be same. Similarly, the distance that we found out here between C and D will exactly equal to the distance between Q and R, right? So what is AB equals to PR and QR is equals to CD is equals to Y2 minus Y1 units. Yes or no? So we got these two distances, which two? PR and QR. Now what do we require, friends, is the distance between PQ, right? The whole thing that we are doing here is to find out the distance between PQ, the shortest distance between PQ. So now in triangle PQR, PR square plus QR square is equals to PQ square, right? So we will get here the shortest distance between P and Q, where PR and QR are already given. Yes or no? Where PR and QR are already given. Therefore we can say that x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 square is equals to PQ square, and hence PQ is equals to square root of x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 square, which gives me the distance formula, or which gives me the distance. This gives me the distance between the points P and Q, right? Which gives me the distance between the points P and Q. Now once I get the distance here, will it be possible for me every time to draw this graph? Because these questions are very small in calculation, so it will not be possible for me to draw this graph every time. Rather, the coordinates will not be given on the axis. Sometimes it will be given like find out the distance between P 3 4 and Q 4 6. Then what to do at this time? We shall draw this graph here? No, we shall not draw this graph here. So what to do at that time? Simply, friends, what are the coordinates of point P and what are the coordinates of point Q? Can you find out? Yes or no? Yes, we can simply find out by the topic that we have started with the introduction here in this video, that P and Q are having coordinates. What are the coordinates of P? So the P will have coordinates x1 comma y1. See, where is P intersecting to positive x-axis? At x1 comma 0. Where is P intersecting to positive y-axis? At 0 comma y1. So combining these both, we will get the coordinates of P x1 y1, and simply we can also get the coordinates of Q, that will be x2 comma y2. Yes or no? So here the distance, the shortest distance. Now let me correct this, friends, here, that this PQ we found out is the shortest distance, right? This is the shortest distance between the points having coordinates P x1 y1 and Q having coordinates x2 y2, right? And this formula that is being written inside the box is actually the distance formula of 2 points P x1 y1 and Q x2 y2. Is it clear, friends? So this derivation that I have done here is somewhat a different one from that it is given in the book, right? So you need to remember this formula, the distance formula, that is the shortest distance between 2 points P x1 y1 and Q x2 y2 is given by the formula PQ equals to square root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. You need to remember this formula. Is it clear, friends? So that is the distance formula for today's topic. Is it clear? Okay, now let me erase this, and I want to talk about one more point related to the distance formula. Then we shall move on to the examples, that how the distance formula is used to find out the distance between the 2 points, right? Friends, here we have taken 2 points that are lying in the first quadrant, right? So for this graph, the distance formula, the shortest distance between 2 points P x1 y1 and Q x2 y2 is given by PQ is equals to square root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square, right? But what if, now the next point, that if the point P is x comma y, if the point P is x comma y and the other point is origin O, then what? If we want to find out the distance between the point px comma y from the origin, then the distance formula, then the formula goes like OP, that is square root of x square plus y square. You need to remember this. I am solving here how it follows, right? OP is equals to square root of x square plus y square. Now friends, how this goes here, I am solving the proof of this, that let, we are having this point, let let me take the origin first, that let the coordinates of origin, what are the coordinates of origin friends? Let origin O, that is 0 comma 0, be equals to x1 comma y1. We shall take the coordinates of origin as x1 y1 and p x comma y is equals to x2 comma y2. So friends, we have taken these two, origin as x1 y1, that means 0 0 as x1 y1 and x comma y as x2 y2. So it simply means that 0 will be referred to x1, again the second 0 will refer to x2, this x will refer to x2 and y will refer to y2, right? So using the distance formula, that OP, that is equals to square root of, what is x2, that is x minus x1, that is 0 whole square, plus y minus 0 whole square. What is x minus 0 friends? X, so that is x square plus y square, which gives me the distance OP, that means the distance between OP is given by square root of x square plus y square. So whenever, if for example, if I say that find the distance of the point 4 comma 6 from origin, so the distance OP will be written as square root of 4 square plus 6 square. What is 4 square? That is 16 plus 36, that is square root of 52. So this will be the answer of the distance between the point 4 comma 6 and the origin, or from the origin. Is it clear? So this is the distance formula that we need to find out. Is it clear, everyone, friends, right? Now let us solve one or two examples related to the distance formula, then we shall move on with our next topic. Suppose we are having an example here, that find out the distance between the examples. Find the distance between the following, between the following pairs of points. Find the distance between the following pairs of points, right? Now the first pair given to you here, friends, is the first one that is given to us is 2 comma 3 and 4 comma 1, right? So let us try to solve this. 2 comma 3 and 4 comma 1 is the given pair of points here. So how will you write it down, friends? The main important thing is here, let 2 comma 3 is equals to x1 y1, right? Or let us say that let a2 comma 3 equals to x1 y1 and b 4 comma 1 is equals to x2 y2, right? So we are having these two as our reference, that is a2 comma 3 be x1 y1 and b 4 comma 1 be x2 y2. Therefore the distance formula ab is given by square root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square, right? That simply gives me x2, that is 4 minus 2 whole square plus 1 minus 3 whole square, right? I have simply put down the values from the points x1 y1 and x2 y2, that is x2 equals to 4, x1 equals to 2, y2 equals to 3 and y2 equals to 1 and y1 equals to 3. What is 4 minus 2? 2, so that is 2 square plus 1 minus 3, that is minus 2 square. Now you need to remember that, friends, square of a negative number is again a positive number, so that is square root of 4 plus 4, right, which is equals to square root of 8. Hence you can say that the distance AB is equals to 2 root 2 units or 8 root 8 units. Okay, so this is the distance between the points a2 comma 3 and 4 comma 1. Is it clear, friends? Right, let us solve some more. The second one, I am having the point that is minus 5 7 and minus 1 3, minus 5 comma 7 and minus 1 comma 3. So again we shall start with the same thing, that here let, now we shall change p minus 5 comma 7 is equals to x1 comma y1 and q minus 1 comma 3 is equals to x2 comma y2, right? Therefore I shall write down the formula, distance formula pq is equals to square root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. So coming to the values, what is x2 here? Minus 1. What is x1 here? Minus 5. See friends, minus 1 is x2. This minus outside the bracket is of the formula, and again x1 is minus 5. So note that when you are placing the values, the sign of the values must be placed correctly, because if you change one or if you forget one of these signs, then the answer will get wrong. Here y2, that is 3 minus 7 whole square, right? So what is minus plus? First of all let us simplify this, that is minus 1 minus plus 5 whole square plus 3 minus 7 whole square, right? Is it clear? Now minus 1 plus 5, that is minus 4 whole square plus 3 4 whole square plus 3 minus 7, that is minus 4 whole square. What is 4 square? 16 plus what is minus 4 square? That is also 16. 16 plus 16 is square root of 32, which is equals to 4 root 2, right? So the distance between P and Q is 4 root 2 units, right? It is 4 root 2 units. So let me simply change this. Is it clear, friends? So that is 4 root 2 units, right? Now let me solve one more example here, that if I am having the distance between a general point that is a comma b and minus a comma minus b. I need to find out the distance between these 2 points here, a comma b and minus a comma minus b. So what is the thing that happens here? That is, here let a, okay, let me take something else, r, a comma b is equals to x1 comma y1 and s minus a comma minus b is equals to x2 comma y2. So I'm going to take these two references now. In the first one we took a and b, in the second one we took p and q, and in the third one we are now taking r and s. Therefore the distance between r and s is given by the distance formula, that is x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. So this gives me square root of x2 minus x1, that is minus a, minus again x1 is a, so minus a whole square plus minus b whole square. Yes or no? Friends, you can see here that x1 is a but x2 is minus a. So whenever we put the value in place of x2, we shall put minus a, then again a minus of the formula, and in place of x1 I shall simply put a. So we will get two minus a's, that means minus a. And similarly for y2 minus y1, that is minus b. So that gives me square root of minus 2a whole square plus minus 2b whole square, right? I need to simply make the squares here, so that is equals to square root of 4a square plus 4b square. Yes or no? Right? Now what can I take common here? 4. So that is square root of 4 into a square plus b square. Right? In the 4 that is given inside the square root, we shall take that 4 out. So we shall get this as 2 and square root of a square plus b square. So friends, whenever we make the square of a square plus b square, at that time we shall not have this as a and b. So the distance between these two, that is r and s, is given by 2 square root of a square plus b square. Is it clear? So that is about the distance formula. These three examples are basically the examples of the distance formula.